DebX, amplifying voices, accelerating change. Please help me welcome to the DebX stage, Lisa Ephraim.
My daughter Blake passed away at the age of 21 from a pulmonary embolism in July of 2018. It was a complication from a massive stroke she had had at the age of 16. Losing a child is every parent's nightmare, and it's an experience I hope you never have. In sympathy, people would say things like, "I couldn't go on without my child," or "How do you move forward?" Those words could have easily left me feeling guilty or hurt because I haven't fallen apart and I haven't stopped living. Why? It's not what Blake would have wanted, and it's certainly not how she lived her life. In Blake's 21 short years, she left a legacy of living courageously and inspired more people than most of us will do in our longer lifetime. Her brother Alex described her as a tsunami, someone whose presence would be felt for years to come. Blake showed us what courage and determination look like, what kindness and love feel like, and how warmth of spirit and profound acceptance can change lives. In her eulogy, our rabbi shared, she returned from tragedy to become an inspiration, a living example of hope personified in a beautifully spiritual creature who touched lives as though she had a wand of fairy dust. My beautiful daughter Blake effortlessly brought light and love to all who crossed her path. And tonight, as I share my story of loss and healing, I hope you, like countless others, including myself, will learn to step out of the ordinary and to live courageously, to live life like Blake. At Blake's memorial service, we shared Beyoncé's song, "I Was Here." This song so perfectly captures her unwavering spirit, and I'd like to share a few of those lyrics with you. I want to say I lived each day until I died. Know that I meant something in somebody's life. The hearts I have touched will be the proof that I leave, that I make a difference, and this world will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it could be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. We couldn't have scripted a more appropriate song for how Blake had lived. In her time on this earth, she had left her mark. A connection with her was real and genuine, and she inspired you to live courageously, to live life like Blake. Losing her gave me pause. Was I living courageously? Was I willing to experience new adventures? The honest answer is no. I wasn't always open-minded or brave enough to try. I first had to consider the idea, other people's opinions, and the consequences of my choices. I live life more like a chore than the adventure. During Blake's post-stroke recovery, we battled about this numerous times. I wanted to put her in a bubble and protect her. She wanted to live a life without restrictions, to live life her way. When things got tough, we agreed to a compromise. 15 minutes of crying and anger, followed by a walk to clear our minds, and then it was back to the next step in recovery. And what an amazing recovery she had. To meet Blake just a year post-stroke, you would never know the depths of what she was battling and overcome. After her death, though, I struggled. I mean, losing a child is a pain that will bring you to your knees, and it rocks every fiber of your being. But it was Blake's tenacity and her fire to live that helped me survive those initial days and weeks. I can hear Blake now happily mimicking her favorite Marilyn Monroe quote, "Give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world." Well, it was time to get my new shoes on and to learn to live courageously, to live life like Blake. And the first step in my new shoes was up Camelback Mountain. You see, on the 5-year anniversary of her stroke, we had planned to hike Camelback and celebrate all the obstacles she had overcome. Instead, we hiked in her memory. Blake loved this mountain, but in the past, I was far too nervous to attempt it. But I did that day. I climbed Camelback without a clue as to the difficulty or challenges it might present. And what an amazing and fulfilling moment it was to climb the last 50 yards with Blake in my ear whispering, "You've got this, Mom. You've got this." I found healing in hiking and being in the gym, and it helped me to lose 50 pounds, and I now get to wear this fabulous dress of Blake's. I am a redhead, something I always wanted to be, but wasn't sure I had the personality to pull it off. Being red is a lot more fun than being blonde. My son, Alex, he loves to ski the Colorado mountains and wanted to share the experience. My daughter, Chloe, and I, we prefer the beach, but decided to give skiing a shot. Let's just say failing out of skiing school wasn't part of the weekend plan. But it wasn't about being successful. It was about the courage to try. I am not a fan of guns, but a friend of mine took me shooting, and I was surprised to learn I like the thrill of holding a high-powered rifle and pulling the trigger. I do love the water. And last summer, I successfully wakeboarded for 15 seconds, and I yelled, "For Blake," as I jumped off the cliff at Lake Powell. Next up was the Colorado Alpine Loop off-roading adventure, and then the decision to move to Austin, Texas, in the middle of a global pandemic to start a new life chapter. While going through Blake's things, I found her life goals, one of which was to share her story and to be a voice of living courageously. After her death, though, again, I struggled. I didn't want to be that positive voice for stroke awareness. And then I realized I wasn't living life like Blake. So I got those sassy courage shoes back on, and I partnered with the American Heart and Stroke Association. Together, we created a stroke awareness video that now has over 40,000 views. I recently had the opportunity to share Blake's remarkable stroke story at the beginning of the Austin Heart and Stroke Walk. It motivated donations in our company, and we tripled our fundraising goal. And tonight, with nervous excitement, I am standing on a DebX stage asking you to say yes the next time you are presented with opportunities to live courageously and to live life like Blake. Living life, really living life takes courage. And this reminds me of a quote by French novelist Anais Nin. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Courage came naturally to Blake, and as her sister Chloe shared, Blake was never out of her comfort zone. She didn't have one. She easily inspired others to live outside of theirs, and life should be less about the chore and more about living the adventure. It has been a little more than 2 years since losing Blake, and there are moments when missing her is unbearable. And when those moments arrive, I go back to that post-stroke strategy. 15 minutes to cry and grieve, followed by a walk or a hike to regain my focus. And then it's back to the next step in living life like Blake. Thank you.